JaMarr Chase is going to be in the NFL soon. He is the best returning player for the LSU Tigers, the defending national champions. He is the best single-season statistics of any wide receiver in the history of LSU. Let's remember OBJ and Jarvis Landry went there. He did better than them all. LSU loses Joe Burrow. They lose JaMarr Chase. They lose Joe Brady, their passing game coordinator. He's in the NFL with the Panthers. They lose their defensive coordinator, Dave Aranda. And they also lose 14 guys that were drafted, including Burrow. But the real story is Chase, along with Caleb Farley of Virginia Tech and Michael Parsons of Penn State, two absolute studs that will go in the first round with JaMarr Chase. These are some heavy, heavy hitters choosing to opt out, but when it's the best skill guy on the defending national champions, whoa, people take notice.
Well, they do, but each and every one of these young men that are making this decision, they're making a right decision. They basically are going to be first-round picks somewhere in the first round. You know, they're projected in the top 5, top 15. You just don't know till they finish evaluating everybody, but you know they're going to be first-round picks. They're going to make a lot of money. And why risk that? Why go out there and you don't owe it to anybody? You've basically accomplished everything that you wanted to accomplish at the university. That's why you're one of the top players in the country. So now it's time to fulfill your goals, which is getting to the National Football League and making a whole bunch of money.
I was going to say, Zubin, like a CEO, and I think that's how all these athletes need to look at their particular situations. If a CEO had a company in one particular state, and that company was not getting the right tax abatement from that state, you know what you do? You put that company on the open market and you say, I'm willing to move my company to a different state to get better tax abatements, right? It's that easy. It's black and white. That easy. I probably shouldn't use that analogy in 2020.
We got you.
Challenging times.
It's all good.
But it's really that simplistic, right? So for a guy like JaMarr Chase, it's that simple. And also, I pose this back to anybody who wants to use the argument, go back to school and play. What are you going back to?
Yeah.
What are you going back to? I mean, Joe Burrow last year throwing for over 5,000 yards, 60 TDs. I mean, Miles Brennan is a talented young kid, but even if he hits 4,000 yards and 30 TDs, like that's still second rate compared to what Joe Burrow was last year.
Totally.
There's a number of guys that are going to forego their juniors and senior years. This thing is just starting. There's guys that are getting the information, trying to gather everything up to make a decision on what they want to do. But essentially, it's going to be a number of guys that's not going to play, whether it's in the SEC, whether it's the Pac-12, or any of these other conferences, the Big Ten. You're going to start to see guys just say no. You know, if the Big Ten's talking about coming back maybe in Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving time, right, they're going to lose a whole bunch of players. They're going to lose a whole bunch of players that's just going to say, I'd rather take my shot at the NFL because I don't want to continue to try to play college football, get injured, or play college football 8 or 9 games and got to get ready for the combine and get ready for training camp. It's just too much.
Now, Key, let me ask you this question. Before, when we talk about quarterbacks, you always say you like your quarterbacks big, right?
Yeah.
Do you like your wide receivers big as well?
It depends,
or are you okay?
it depends on what I'm trying to do within that system and how special is that. I can get away with an itty-bitty at receiver.
Is itty-bitty 6 feet? Because that's what he is.
That's probably an average. I bet you that's average size for receivers in the NFL. 6'6", 6'1". That's probably average because there's some trees up there now, and them trees, they average that thing out. But 6 feet, he's legit. I mean, you can do some work at 6 feet because the corners, NFL corners 5'10", 5'11". I mean, you would have probably been.
I'm 6'2". Don't do that.
Yeah, you would have been a smaller.
I'm above
corner.
average. You're saying I'm above average.
Soup off his head in the red zone.
I hate you sometimes.
Just like this.
5'11", 157. Strong 5'11", 157.
That's what you are.
5'11", 157.
Are you sure you're really 5'11", Zubin?
I am.
I'm on this about eye to eye.
We are. Why do you guys do that?
But he's JaMarr Chase is making the smart choice and the right move for him and his family. There's no question about it. He doesn't gain anything by going back to LSU and playing college football.
I couldn't concur more. After all, these are the stats he would have to try to top, as you mentioned, to try to do with Miles Brennan, who you don't know if he's going to be Joe Burrow. Miles Brennan is LSU's new quarterback, Ed Orgeron's first recruit when he took over the job. But the bottom line, to your point, Jay and Key, can he possibly do better than 84 catches for 1,780 yards, 20 touchdowns, and do it against Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, Florida? He earned those stats.
Man, he better go get his money.
I mean, plus you don't know what the running game's going to be like, right? Without Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's no longer there either. So
great point. He's in Kansas City with the world champions.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.